All right. Let's take a comfortable seat, and we start to shift our mind to a yogic mindset. Yogic mindset. Yogic mindset. We start to become a listener primarily. The word is Shravanam, and we are listening in a way that allows us to discern what is healing, what is useful for our body. Discerning is viveka. And so we need a little bit of space from our body to experience it and witness it objectively. One of the best ways to do this is to start to settle into our breathing. This allows the mind to pay attention to the body, yet have a little bit of space. So start to breathe in and out through the nose. More times, in and out through the nose. We're taking on a yogic mindset, one of listening. We practice this listening by discerning what is good for the body. The head relax a little bit. And take a few more deep breaths now, concentrating on the kidney area, the space in the middle low back area. Feeling the inhalation expand. And just keeping the front body soft on the exhale. Concentrating each breath into the back of the kidney. And take a moment to lengthen through the spine, lift up through the back of the crown. To do this, you may feel that the kidney area got long and narrow. Breath or two like this, very upright and astute. And then let's go back again. Let's try it again. Just sort of relax and let your forehead fall a little bit forward. So you feel an opening or a gentle stretch in the mid-low back. And then concentrate on putting the inhale there. What's happening, if you can get it, you can actually feel the diaphragm. The back of the diaphragm stretches into the breath. This can calm the nervous system. And this calming can help make us a better listener and help us discern in the yogic mindset. One more deep breath into the low back, mid back. And then once again, stretch up through the back of your crown, elongating the spine. Growing taller here. Try to keep those shoulders relaxed, Jim. There you go. Spine gets tall, but the shoulders don't have to go with it. Notice that's a little bit more challenging to breathe into that mid-low back area. You're using those muscles to help lift the spine. Good. Let's try to keep that spine as long as possible, feeling like a drawing, like the way an arrow would be shot or a rocket would be shot, lifting up through the core of your spinal column, making the core and the torso long and narrow. Keep that core and torso long and narrow, and now spiral around that to your right. You're spiraling around that long, tall column of your spine, staying in that length. And then twisting the other way. Keep breathing, long and slow. Coming back to center. And then once again, relax the forehead slightly. Let that mid-low back expand just a little bit. Get a little stretch there. And return that breathing deep into the low mid-back. Feeling the inhalation expand that area. And if you want, this time you can allow the forehead and shoulders to fall forward any further you'd like. You don't have to. Trying to elongate the back of the neck. Still breathing into that same spot. Cultivating the yogic mindset. Roll back up. Elongate through the spine. Feel that lengthening, drawing straight up through the column of light of the spine, up through the top of the crown. You're gonna hook your thumbs and push your palms and fingertips up into the ceiling. Try to move those shoulder blades up and then back. And then here, keeping that length in your spine, again, let the forehead go forward. It won't go forward much because your shoulders are so up and active. Good. Elongate the elbows if possible, a little bit more. Good. Breathing here. Spread the arms out wide. Take your left hand on top of the skull and draw it to the left as you let your right arm fall open, nice and slow, elongating that side of the neck from ear to shoulder. Drop the other hand down by your side, roll back to center. Let's inhale, come up with the thumbs, up with the fingertips. Lift those shoulders up and back. Let the forehead kind of hang forward just a little bit. Keep a little more length in your neck. Breathing here. You can change the hooking of the thumbs if that makes a difference for you. And go to the other side. You're going to drop the right hand onto the head. Let the left arm fall slowly open as you pull the skull away from it. Listening, feeling. Rolling back to center and coming upright. Excellent. Welcome to your practice. Let's come on to our mats, hands and knees. Have your blocks. You can place them at the front of the mat or put them under your hands. You're going to shift your weight back, opening up the back body. Send the sit bones, send the tail down towards the heels. Just stretch up that low back area. And then just rock forward a little bit. You're going to bring the hips forward of your knees, but not go into a cobra yet. You're going to keep your core a little bit engaged. So you're kind of like moving towards cobra, moving towards up dog, but you're not dropping the hips too much. Just so your core has to draw in. That's it. Good. Let's press back. Send the sit bones and the tail down towards the heels. And then draw forward, bring the hips forward of the knees without dropping them too low. So the core still stays engaged. You can even think that you're squeezing the butt muscles a little bit, hugging the core in a little bit to stabilize here. And let's rock back 2 more times, nice and slow, go at your own pace. When we rock back, we want to stretch the low back by sending the sit bones toward the heels and the tailbone down towards the heels. Rock forward. Keeping the belly muscles in and lifted. Last one, pressing back. Good. Let's come forward. And let's in fact now lie on our bellies. Walk the hands out in front all the way. Point the toes so you're on the tops of your feet are down. And try to shoot the fingertips straight out from your shoulder. Shoot the toes straight out from the hip. And think about growing your spine and growing the side body. As you grow these lines, align your wrist with your arm so that the fingers can feel like straight lines shooting out from the elbow, giving space in the wrist joint. Good. Extend the ankles, pointing those toes straight back. Good. Now press your palms down and start to drag them back. They don't have to move, just drag them back as you lift your crown. Nice and slow. As you try to drag the hands back, you should feel the shoulder muscles integrating and engaging. Keep breathing here. And relax. Bring the elbows underneath your shoulders. Rise up to a Sphinx posture. Draw the hips into themselves and then push down with the pubic bone into the floor. As you push down to the floor with the pubic bone, draw your shoulder blades down the back. Press the elbows down and forward. While pressing the elbows down and forward, grow up through the back of your spine, bit by bit. Grow up through the back of your spine. Good. Breathe here. Calm the nervous system. Create a yogic mindset. Listening to the details, feeling them experientially in the body as good. And if they're not good, you have to listen more deeply to make the instruction good for the body. You could do all of this in excess. You could do all of this in deficit and have a different reaction. It is finding the right balance. Good. Lower back down. Go ahead and take your arms out on a wide V diagonal or straight out like a T. You choose. Walk your fingers like you're trying to stretch your shoulders wider apart. Then press down through your palm and spread the bones of your hand. Feel how the spreading of the bones of your hand engages the arm. Spread and engage your fingers so that your fingers kind of peel up from the ground while you press the palm down. If this is available to you, you're going to turn your head and rest on one cheek. Keep the arms engaged. Turn the head, turn the other cheek. Good. Pull those hands a little bit closer to you and draw your shoulders in and up to lift your chest off the ground. So you're making like a pyramid shape. Good. Yeah, elbows straight if you can though, Kathy. So you're pushing down through the hands and pulling back at the same time. Yes. Now press down through your pubic bone as you rise through the back of your spine. Level 2, if you can, you're going to tone the legs and just lift the legs about an inch or two off the ground, just tensing the muscles just enough to engage them. Breathing here. And relax. Let's tuck our toes, place our hands under us, and push all the way up and back to tabletop. Walk the hands back and put them on the high setting of the blocks. If you don't have the blocks, you'll put your hands on your thighs like this. Blocks are good too. You're going to push down on the blocks. You're going to sit your sit bones back towards your heels, and you're going to howl at the moon, lifting up through the front of your throat. Breathe here. Toes are tucked, sending the sit bones down towards the heels. When you send the sit bones down towards the heels, you feel your low belly muscles draw in. 2 more deep breaths. Good. Inhale, come all the way up. Hook your thumbs. Extend your hips. So now your hips are nice and long, even sending the hips a little bit forward as you send your thumbs and fingers up and back. As you send your thumbs and fingers up and back, take your shoulders up and back, and let your forehead grow heavy. Good. Relaxing back down, placing those hands back on the blocks or on the thighs if you don't have the blocks, on the high setting. Toes are still tucked. Push your sit bones back and down towards your heels, stretching the sole of your foot. Good. Howl at the moon. Breathe. Good. Hook the thumbs, reach up, sliding the fingers up a pane of glass, drawing them up and back in an archway, creating a gentle crescent in your spine. Grow your forehead heavy, getting some length in the back of your neck. Good. From here, you're going to come down. You're going to place your right hand out in front of you on a block or on the floor. With your right hand in front of you, you're going to turn your left foot out a little bit. I'm sorry. Right hand down, right foot turns out. And you're going to step your left foot straight back so that you've turned to a side body stretch. Yes, you got it. Hand can be on your hip to start, and squeeze your shoulder blades on your back first. Breathe, creating a yogic mindset, discernment, listening, giving our awareness some space. Pull your hips back a little bit. Free that bottom hip. Good. Now can we roll our ribs a little bit to the sky? Turn your thumb up. Turn your thumb back. Breathe here. Shoulder blades back. Look down at your bottom hand. Try to get a stretch along the back top of the neck there as that thumb and hand pulls back and your gaze looks down. Good. Switch sides, putting the left hand down, kickstanding the left foot out after the knee comes down. Reach back with your right foot and turn it out so you can open up your side. Second round. Good. Anchoring the earth. Let's do our hand on our hip to start. Take a moment, push your hips back to release that bottom hip. Squeeze your shoulder blades back onto the spine. That's good. If it's available, you're going to extend out with your right arm so the thumb points up, and then roll the thumb back to open the shoulder more. If you've got that and the shoulders are still on your back, look down at your bottom hand. Make sure the left shoulder doesn't pop forward. Both shoulders move back. Breathe here. The yogic mindset. Finding the value. Finding the purpose of the pose. Good. Let's come back down to our tabletop posture. You're going to open your knees wider apart. Bring the feet a little closer together and sit back, sending your sit bones down towards your heels. Good. Inhale and come up. You're going to change your stance and bring your left foot nice and wide on the mat and forward. You're going to walk that back knee back any amount. Give yourself a blanket cushion if you need it. And now push your front knee away from your back knee. Feel the stretch of the groins and inner thighs. Breathe here. Push the front knee away from the back knee in such a way that you feel the stretch in the inner groins and thighs. Good. Let's rock back. You're going to lift your front toes, lift your front foot except for the heel so you feel a stretch on the hamstring. Sit back just enough so that you feel a stretch in the hamstring. The hamstring is the muscle in the back of your upper leg. You want to feel the stretch right in the center of it, not near the knee, not near the hip, but right in the belly of the muscle. And you can find that by sitting further back or less back, and by drawing those toes back. Good, let's replace that knee. Go ahead and step to the other side. So the right foot comes forward to the mat, the edge. You're gonna walk that back knee back any amount. Looks good. Now, move your right knee forward and away from the back knee until you feel a stretch in the inner thighs and groin. Breathe. Use a yogic mindset to concentrate into the area of sensation of where this pose speaks to awareness. And take these ideas into all facets of our life, life choices, life decisions, next steps. All these things can have a yogic mindset. We're training it through the body awareness, through health and wellness. But you can apply it to any aspect of one's life. Good, let's sink back. Start to lift those toes to tone the really to tone the top of the leg to support the under leg. Sinking into the hamstring stretch safely. Breathe. Let's step back to all fours. Walk the hands back, tuck both toes and lift up and push back into a squat pose, knees out. It's okay if the heels are up a little bit. Send your sit bones down towards the heels. Breathe here. Looks good. Relax your head, shoulders. And then press up to standing posture, mountain pose, and come to the front of your mat. You can bring your blocks there. Good. Place the feet flat on the floor. Turn the palms to face forward. Direct the fingertips down and slightly back. With a deep breath, pull the shoulders and arms back without letting the ribs pop forward. And then relax the effort. We'll do that whole sequence again. You're going to tone the palms, send the fingertips down and back, squeeze the shoulders and arms onto the back. Don't let the ribs pop forward. Take a deep breath. And relax the effort. Same sequence. You want to really try to elongate the elbow, elongate the wrist as those fingertips wing back, squeezing onto the back body. Good. Look over now, down at your left thumb. Keep that engagement and then roll your head down. So you're making a U shape until you're looking at your right thumb. Down and back. Let's look at the first thumb again. Second thumb. First thumb, last time. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up to the sky. Bring the palms together. Bring the legs as close together as appropriate, possible for your body. And try to lengthen your body as long as you can. Feeling each chamber getting longer, the ankle joint, the knee, the hip joint, the belly and waistline gets longer. Shoulder blades longer, neck longer. Breathing, elbows, fingertips longer. Good. Push your hips back. Squeeze your kneecaps. Squeeze your kneecaps as you push your hips back any amount. Pause when you feel the engagement of the pose, listening for the posture. It's like a flat back pose where we're using some balancing. Good. Arms out wider. The more you pull your arms back, the lower you can go. But you can also strain the back by going too low. Good. Bend your knees. Swoop your arms up to the sky. And come back up to standing. Good. Flex the hands. Turn them out. Wing the fingertips down and back. And let's look over now at the right fingertip. Let the gaze fall down like a U shape until you're looking at the left fingertip. Keep the muscles engaged. Back to the first finger, thumb. And then to the second thumb. First thumb. Turn the palms to face up and bring the hands all the way up overhead. Elongate your joints. Go step by step. Squeeze the glutes a little bit to elongate hips, ankles, knees, ribs, waistline, shoulders, elbows, fingers. Good. Pull the hips back and keep those fingers folding forward. Sit back until you engage the stretch. Squeeze those kneecaps. Squeeze those kneecaps. Yes. Strong back, strong core. Swoop the arms, chair pose. And come back to mountain. Good. Let's go ahead, step our right leg back all the way. Nice long stance today. So the hips are turned open about 45 degrees. Long enough to turn the hips open 45 degrees. Plant the feet down and push the front knee away from the back heel. Inhale back up. Let's do that 2 more times. Plant the feet. Maybe get a little longer stance again. 45 degrees with our hips. Let's send our front knee away from the back heel. Keeping that back heel away from the front knee. Let's come back up to center. One from the stance again. Hips are about 45 degrees. Let's make sure our torso faces straight ahead this time. Last round. Back heel down and push the front knee away from it. And as you push the front knee away from it, let's hook our thumbs and reach the hands high into the sky. Warrior One pose. Breathe here. Slowly exhale. Big inhale. And then slowly exhale. Good. Step out of your posture. When you're ready, let's take a nice long stance back with our left foot. Nice, longer than usual today. So our hips are open 45 degrees. And then you're going to go ahead and bend the front knee without moving that back heel. Keep that back heel planted. Out of that, see if the stance can get even longer. Bend the front knee. You want to get that front knee at least to the heel. And that knee goes past the toe. You've gone way too far. You want to take a longer stance. Let's come back out of it. Last round, you're going to bend that front knee. Keep that back heel planted, pushing it down and away from the front knee. And the front knee moving away from the back heel. Let's turn our torso, make sure our chest points to the front edge of the mat. Hook our thumbs, inhale, lift the arms up high to the sky, Warrior One pose. Let's breathe deep. When you breathe deep, Extend the exhale, twice as long as the inhale if possible. So let's inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale 4, exhale 8. Good, go ahead, step out of your posture. When you're ready, just kind of ragdoll into a forward fold. Release any tension. You can use the little wall or a table ledge or some blocks. Breathe, release the low back. Trying to elongate our exhale. Elongating the exhale shifts our yogic mindset. If we concentrate on it, it will help keep space in our mind to allow for a deeper experience of the body. And then roll up through the back of your body, through the back of the spine, mountain pose. You're going to keep the hips square the whole time for this next round. So keep the hands on the hips so that you make sure that the hips are not opening, that both hip points point equally forward. And then step the right foot back as far as it'll go without opening and still flat-footed. So it's going to be a much shorter stance than we just practiced. And you're going to try that again. Maybe you can go a little further without opening the hip and still feet flat on the floor. So keep experimenting wider, longer, maybe turning the toe out, see what becomes available to you. Okay, once you sort of found a nice, comfortable stance, let's focus on now really sealing the feet into the floor. Pressing down from the heel first, and then spreading the rest of the foot down and into the mat as well until our hip joints, our knee joints, ankle and foot are all very planted in the earth. This is our yogic mindset, this deep awareness. Every action of the body is communicating to the whole body. All right, let's keep our legs straight. We tried it earlier, we're squeezing our kneecaps. This is a weird instruction, but when you get it, you really feel the benefit. Squeezing our kneecaps, making the legs feel straighter. Unless, of course, you're a hyperextender, in which case you can think about elongating the kneecap rather than squeezing. Stiff guy like myself, I'm going to squeeze my kneecaps. All right, keeping the hands on the hips, we're going to hinge at our hips and start to slow like a clock hand, meaning the hips are the center of the clock and my torso is a clock hand. I'm going to start to move myself to maybe 11 o'clock. Well, I'm thinking about 10 o'clock. I'm dreaming about 9 o'clock, but if I'm honest, I'm going to have to change the shape of my clock hand to get there. And just stay in that pose. Stay there. Breathe. Are the feet still sealed in the earth? Are the kneecaps still strong? Inhale, come back up. Stretch the arms into the sky. And then just bend your knees slowly forward. Get a calf stretch. Get an Achilles stretch. Don't move that back leg. Different version of Warrior One. Right? Much more narrow Warrior One. All right, step out of the pose. Very nice. We're going to try the same thing on the other side. So again, we're going to start with our hands on our hips so that we don't open the hip any. And then you're going to move that foot back, the left foot, any amount. where you can seal both feet very firmly in the floor, any width, any length, and not let the hips open. And once you kind of find a good balance stage, you're going to cultivate sealing the feet. So the heel first of both feet, and then spread the foot out, anchoring the whole foot. Keeping the hips square. Good. Now squeeze the kneecap. Keeping your yogic mindset. These details should hold your attention completely. Squeezing. Once you've got that engagement, you're going to think of your torso like a clock hand, moving it towards 11 o'clock. Hinging at the hips, maybe 10 o'clock. Maybe dreaming of 9 o'clock. If you're being honest with yourself, you're probably not getting to 9 o'clock. Or maybe even fully 10 o'clock without having to round your spine. But using that yogic awareness, discernment, keeping good foundations in the hips and knees. Breathe there. Elongate the exhale to stay attentive. Inhale back up. Go ahead, push that front knee forward without budging that back heel. A different kind of warrior one should be a very different experience. I feel it much more in my calf and Achilles than I do in my hip or quad, like I do in the longer variation. And step out of the pose. Good work. Good work. Just walk it out for a second. Inhale, stretch the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. You can slide the hands down the legs. Place the hands on the mat or on blocks, and let's go to our first downward dog of the class. Same idea, send those heels into the earth today. Send your sit bones down through your heels. Good, now listen carefully. Take the inseam of your foot back. Take the inseam of your ankle back without letting the knees turn. Draw the inseam of the leg back without letting the knees turn. This should create a nice release and space in the hip. The inseam of the leg and foot turn back without rotating the knees. The knees are toned like we've worked on. Good, come down to kneeling. Inhale, open the front of the chest. Cow pose. Extend your exhale. And then lower all the way down to the mat. Gently point the toes. This sort of counter some of the poses we've been doing. And gently lift up through the muscles of our back body. So squeezing our glutes a little bit. Lifting up through the low back, the mid back, the upper back. Even the neck and skull start to lift. Stabilize it, hold it. See if you can feel if one side is stronger or more conscious than the other. Good, relax it back down. You're barely using your arms. You could probably hover your hand and get the same level of pose. Let's try it again. Lifting from our glutes, from our low back, from our mid back, upper back, neck, and skull. Holding that shape. When you lower down, see if the forehead can touch the ground first, before the nose, before the chin. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale, lifting up from the base of the spine first, and then drawing the muscles subsequently up. And then the forehead comes down first. Last round. Good. You can put out your right arm a little bit, and you're going to rest on your left cheek. As you rest on your left cheek, bend your left knee and hold your left foot with your left hand. So you can do this slightly upright like I'm doing, where my body's a little raised and I'm sort of supporting myself with my forearm, and I'll just turn my head to the right. Or you'll extend the body out and rest on your cheek. Whatever one kind of feels better to your body. Let's not pull too rigorously on our quad. Just use the weight of the spine, the weight of the arm to open the front of the left leg. Breathe and elongate the exhale. Release that leg and let's change sides. Practice your breathing so that you can have a yogic mindset. Listening, watching, and having this level of discernment. What leads us towards health and wellness in the body? You could choose to aim at anything. But I think in the scope of this class, we're trying to aim towards longevity, health, reduce pain. And so we can discern off of that as we move into each posture. It doesn't need to be logical or use the intellect or reason in that way. No, it's more of a presence, a sort of inner knowing. Even if we know the most detailed alignment instructions, applied incorrectly are just as harmful as if knowing nothing at all. Tuck the toes, push the heels back. Tuck the toes, push the heels back, place the hands underneath you. You can use your knees for this, or you're going to straighten your knees, squeeze your kneecap like we've worked on. Squeeze the shoulder blades onto your back. This should lift our chest up off the ground. You're going to do one push-up. You're going to just push your way up. You don't have to go down. You're just going up. You can keep the kneecap straight or use the knees on the ground to help get up. Here we go. Push. And then downward facing dog. Come down to kneeling and rock yourself up. Good. When you're ready, you're going to step your left foot forward, wide on the mat. And you'll put your right hand on the block or on the floor in line with the front foot, nice and wide. Walk that back knee back, push the front knee forward. Brace your left knee with your left hand and push on the knee to rotate your chest, ribs, and spine. Breathe here. Try to squeeze both shoulders down and back. As you squeeze both shoulders down and back, let the front knee open out just slightly. Keep the foot flat, not too much, just let this knee go a little wider. Breathe here. Inhale, come back up. Let's sit back momentarily into that runner stretch. You might need 2 blocks for this, but you're gonna then draw that foot across, if you can, transition into a pigeon pose. So from here, you're gonna bring that knee a little more in, that foot across the body into a pigeon posture. Any version, you can stay upright with me or you can bow forward. A little earlier in class today for a pigeon, so I'm gonna choose upright. If we go down too soon, it turns into the sleepy time of the class. Good. You're going to place your hands flat in a line, tuck your back toes, and step back to that plank pose. You can lower down through your knees or lower down however you wish. We're going to try to push up again. So you're going to tuck the toes, you're going to push your hands down. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades onto your back, elongate or squeeze your kneecaps. If you're not squeezing your kneecaps, you're pushing your kneecaps down into the floor. Here we go with one breath. Exhale, push up, and then back. And let's step the other foot forward for our lunge. Nice wide, long lunge. Matching the left hand with the right foot. Brace the right hand on the knee. Push the right hand down into the knee a little bit to rotate the ribs, shoulders, and spine. Squeeze the shoulder blades down and back. Breathe here. You can push that knee a little wide, but don't let the inseam of the foot come up. Don't let the inseam of the foot come up. Yeah. Trying to listen into that hip joint. Good. When you're ready, you're going to step back into a pigeon posture of sorts. You do a little more narrow pigeon because it's a wider hip opener. You can rock the hips a little bit to sort of find that yogic discernment. Where is this pigeon pose most useful, most supporting my intention that I am discerning toward my aim? An intention is called iccha in yoga. Iccha means, okay, this is what my goal is, this is what I'm shooting for. I now can make decisions based on all of those things. Like if you wanted to sweat a lot in this class, you would be discerning the way you did these poses much more differently than if you wanted to heal your hip, let's say. The way in which you practice the poses would be changing. And so in this way, you could say what is good is what moves you toward your aim. What is bad is what moves you away from the aim. Yogic morality for you. Downward facing dog. Let's step our feet as wide as our yoga mat. Downward facing dog. Turn the heels in slightly and walk the hands back towards a wider squat. Rise up. Just standing. Good. You'll come to the wall and you'll place your right hand on the wall, facing the wall about arm's distance away. So just your fingertip can touch. With your right fingertip touching the wall, You don't need a wall if you don't want to practice the balancing. You'll hold that left foot again or the left ankle with the left hand. The right hand will be on the wall. And before we kick, we first kind of just let the heel drop towards the outer glute, the outer hip. Behind us, Billy, if you can't, you can use a strap to hold it behind you. Yeah, you can use a strap, yeah. Everyone, you can walk your hand up the wall a little bit to keep some length in the front body. And don't go forward today. Keep your core stable. Rather, just kick with the leg back, keeping the body upright. Concentrate on staying upright as you kick the heel while holding on back. Stay with it. Keep feeling, keep listening. Lifting up through the spine. And release. Place the left hand on the wall in front of you. Reach back and hold the right foot with the right hand. You can bring the hand a little higher than the head height to encourage uprightness. Again, we're not falling or leaning forward in today's variation. You're going to kick back with the heel while holding on. Careful not to lean into the wall or lean toward the wall. And this lengthening, what you feel is a lengthening in the front of your hip flexor. Stay with it. And release. Good. Let's take a long stance on our mats again. This time we'll open our feet 90 degrees. The hips will be almost 90, maybe more like 60 degrees, not 45, not quite 90. Bend the front knee or push the front knee away from the back heel. Let's come out of that. Maybe lengthen the stance. Let's try it again. Plant the back heel, sink the front knee. Let's come out of that. Last round. Sink the front knee. Put the left elbow on the thigh or knee and drop the right hand down. Start to reach out like you're going to shake hands with somebody. Side angle pose. Breathe here. Switch your arms, Billy. There you go. You too, Billy. Right, Jane. So with your right arm down, your right up. There you go. Inhale, come all the way back up. Let's switch sides. So we got people doing different legs. I probably screwed up. I probably said something inaccurate. So you're just going to change your legs. Lengthen your stance. Let's see if we can do this without using my right or lefts. We're going to use front and back. 90 degrees with the feet. Plant the back heel. Bend your front knee. So this should be your second side. You're going to sink the front knee away from the back heel. As you straighten the leg, maybe you take a little bit longer stance. Let's do it again. One more time. You're going to take the same side elbow and put it on your front thigh. Drop the top arm down and reach it forward like you're shaking hands. Out towards me, Billy, with your right hand. Bingo. Breathe. Swoop the arm down, inhale, come up, and step out of the posture. Take your feet about almost as wide as your yoga mat, shoulder distance, a little wider. Support your low back with your fingers pointing down like so. And let your forehead grow a little bit heavy. Sink the shoulders back and let the hips fall slightly forward. So it's a little bit of a standing back bend. Breathe here. Good. Bring the hands around the sides and then down the legs as you forward bend. Release the skull. Inhale, back up. Let's do that sequence again. You're going to support the low back. Gently send the fingertips down. Sit bones down through the heels. Shoulders go back. Breathe. Swing the hips back. Send the legs down. Send the hands down the legs. Inhale, come back up. We're going to try another balancing posture. So if you need the wall, you're going to put the, let's see here, what's the best way to do this? You're going to put your left hand on the wall. And you're not going to face the wall. You're going to face, so the wall's on the side of your body, the left side of the body. Mm-hmm. Good. Then with the left hand on the wall, you're going to take your right knee up. No, cancel. You're going to take your left knee up and put your right hand across the top of it. I knew I could do it. Okay. Long and tall spine. Now you can gently pull with your right arm to pull the knee across, and then or slide your left hand along the wall behind you to twist your spine away from the front knee. Breathe. Slide the hand down the wall and come back to center. Let's spin around so our right hand can be on the wall, which is on the right side of our body. Then lift the right knee and cross it with the left hand over top. You can pull the knee slightly across and or slide the hand back along the wall to open the spine into a twist. Breathe. Slide the hand down the wall and come back to center. We're going to do the first side again, and then we're going to add a pose to it. So left hand on the left side of the wall, or on the wall on the left side of your body. Bring up the left knee, come across it with the right hand. Slide the hand back into your twist. This time, bring the arm up, like you're drawing a circle or a rainbow. So you're back to the front. You can keep holding on to the wall with your left hand, and then send your left leg straight back, warrior three. And if you've got the wall, you're reaching your hand away from the back foot. Inhale back up. Good. Spin around, right hand on the wall. Lift the right knee up in front and cross it over. And slowly twist. Let's draw a crescent rainbow shape. Bringing our body back to facing the front. You can keep that right hand on the wall and send the right foot back into a warrior three variation. Inhale back up. Good. Please come down to kneeling pose on your mats. Let's start with our toes tucked and knees and close together, feet close together. Nice and slow, just start to sit back. Any amount. Everyone will get to a different level. The toes are tucked for this first one, so the pads of your feet are on the ground. And if you get your feet, your heels, your sit bones to your heels, great. We're kind of doing an active version today, avoiding the prop. You can use the prop if you want. We wanted to see how low we can get with the musculature doing the support. Good, let's come back up. Now you're gonna point the toes so you're on the toenails or top of the feet, and you'll take the feet wider apart. Knees are close together. Some of us will sit down and land between our heels, that's great. Others, you're gonna work towards sitting down, staying upright. Inhale, come back up. Now you're gonna bring your knees apart and the toes close together again. Same thing, sit back. Breathe. You can sit on your heels, great, please do so, and sit up. Good. Let's come to bring our hands in front, cross our ankles, and sit back. Put the ankles under each knee, the opposite knee, and sit upright. Let the forehead grow very heavy. Let the shoulders grow heavy. Let the hands come to the floor, and maybe slide them forward any amount. Walk them back up, and change which shin is in front. Let the forehead grow heavy. Let the shoulders grow heavy. Bring the hands any further in front. Inhale back up. Let's come down onto our backs with our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor. Walk the feet about as wide as the yoga mat. Drop both knees to your left. Listen carefully. Slide the right foot or walk the right foot off the mat so you feel an inner rotation and a stretch. across the top of the quad. Listen carefully to the body. Keep the right leg where it is and bring the left knee back up. Maybe getting the left foot flat on the floor again. Bring the right knee back up and bring the leg back to balance. Drop both knees to the right and slide the left foot off the mat to the left. Leave the left leg where it is and bring the right knee back up. Maybe the foot is flat on the floor. Bring the left knee back up as well. And square the legs. Press your feet down and roll up into a bridge posture. Sliding the shoulders down away from your ears. Elongate the neck in the back. Roll the spine down into the mat. Bring the knees in towards the body. Curl the forehead up towards the knees. Relax the legs, relax the arms. Stretch out the body on the mat. Rest. The yogic mindset in time becomes one of just empty awareness. Objects come in, objects go out. And the yogi is free to be with what comes and to let it go when it goes. This is called unattached. The yogi is not shunning anything. That is not freedom. Unattached means okay with whether it's there or not. This is not a practice of disregard. The body is there, and so it gets taken care of. Stretch the body and take a comfortable seat. Namaste.